Most men think they understand women, but here's the truth. They don't even understand themselves. Plato didn't write love advice. He didn't teach men how to chase women. He taught men how to escape the lies they built in their own minds. And one of the biggest lies that women are the answer, but if you don't rule your emotions, if you don't control your mind, she won't need to destroy you because you'll destroy yourself. Plato's real message. Not about women, but the man's mind. Most people think ancient philosophers like Plato only talked about politics or big ideas about the world. But if you truly read his work, if you look deeper, you'll realize something surprising. Plato wasn't focused on women, he was focused on men, not on how men could attract women, not on how to make women fall in love, but on something far more important, the inner world of the man himself. He didn't write dating advice. He didn't give love tricks or romantic tips because he knew that wasn't the real problem. Plato was trying to solve something much bigger, something that Plato's real message, not about women, but the man's mind still controls most men today. He was trying to solve the problem of the undisciplined mind before men were swiping through dating apps, before they were chasing after pretty smiles, sweet words, and the promise of love. Plato had already seen the trap. When a man doesn't train his mind, he becomes weak, and not weak in the way most people think, not physically weak, but mentally and emotionally weak, easy to manipulate, easy to distract, easy to break from the inside out. And here's the hard truth. That kind of man may look strong on the outside. He may go to the gym, earn money, wear a suit, but inside he's like a house with no walls. One push and he crumbles. Plato's warning was clear. If a man does not learn how to control his own thoughts, emotions, and desires, he becomes a puppet in the hands of others. And in today's world, that's exactly what we see everywhere. Men who think they're free but live for attention. Men who believe they're strong but change their values just to keep someone's love. Men who think they're in control but are ruled by feelings they never learned to master. You see, Plato believed that before you try to change the world, before you try to lead others, before you even think about love, you must first learn to govern yourself. Because if you can't control your own mind, you will always be controlled by something else, by lust, by fear, by people who know how to pull your emotional strings. And sadly, this is where most men fail. Not because they're evil, but because no one taught them how to train their mind. Let me ask you, do you react too quickly when someone you do you chase people who don't value you? Do you feel lost when you're not being praised, noticed, or loved? If yes, then Plato would say you haven't started the real journey yet. Because the real journey of a man doesn't begin with winning women or collecting achievements. It begins the moment he asks himself, who is really in charge of me, my mind or my emotions? And until that question is answered with truth, no success, no relationship, no money, and no praise will make you truly powerful. So no, Plato didn't talk about how to impress women because he was more concerned with why you feel the need to. The shadow of illusion, why men worship the idea of women impress her in the first place. He wanted you to understand this simple but painful fact. If you don't train your mind, someone else will use it against you. And in most cases, that someone doesn't even have to try hard. The shadow of illusion, why men worship the idea of women. Plato once described a world where people live in darkness, only seeing reflections and believing those reflections are real. He called this the cave. And although that story was about truth and knowledge, it also reveals something deeper, something most men still don't understand today. It reveals how easily the mind can be fooled. And one of the most powerful illusions that continues to trap men is the illusion of women. This illusion doesn't come from women themselves. It comes from the way a man sees them through his own desires, hopes, and fantasies. Instead of understanding what is truly in front of him, his mind creates a version of her that feels perfect. And instead of seeing clearly, he becomes emotionally attached to this imagined version. This illusion becomes powerful not because of who she is, but because of what she represents in his mind. The real danger here isn't her behavior, it's that the man doesn't realize he is responding to an illusion. He thinks he knows what's real, but he doesn't question his thoughts. He believes his emotions are a reflection of truth, but they are often just reactions to his own mental picture. This is what it means to still be inside the cave, living in shadows, not reality. Plato taught that the first step toward wisdom is understanding that you know nothing. That means questioning even the thoughts and feelings that seem most real. It means learning to separate what is imagined from what is true. Most men never do this. They accept their feelings as facts. They hold on to their beliefs without checking if they're accurate. They build entire relationships, dreams, and life goals around something they've never truly examined. This is not love. This is not understanding. This is self-deception. And self-deception is the most dangerous kind because it feels right while being completely wrong. Plato believed that the human mind must rise above illusion to reach truth. But this, the chariot of the soul, how desire controls weak men, requires effort, it requires discipline, and it requires the courage to admit that what you feel may not be what is real. A man who refuses to make that climb stays trapped, not because someone is holding him back, but because he refuses to turn and face the truth. Until he does, he will keep chasing ideas instead of reality. He will stay lost not because of others, but because of the image. He refuses to let go of the chariot of the soul. How desire controls weak men. Plato once described the soul as a chariot being pulled by two horses. Each horse represents a different part of a man's inner world. One horse is noble, it is calm, focused, and wants what is good for the soul. It searches for truth, discipline, and wisdom. The other horse is wild. It does not care about what is right. It only wants pleasure, attention, beauty, and excitement. And who controls this chariot? You do. You are the driver, but here's the problem. Most men don't control the horses. They don't guide them with strength or balance. They don't hold the reins as firmly. They don't even try to lead. Instead, they let the wild horse take control. That wild horse pulls the man toward what feels good in the moment, even if it's the wrong path, even if it leads to pain later. When this happens, the noble horse, the one that wants truth and honor, gets ignored. Its voice becomes quiet, and the man begins to live by impulse, not by wisdom. This is how desire starts to rule a man's life. He forgets his goals. He forgets his values. He forgets who he was becoming, all for a quick feeling, all for something that looks or feels attractive for a moment. Desire isn't evil, but if it leads, it will ruin you. Plato warned us, if the soul is not ruled by reason, it will be ruled by appetite. That's what happens when the wild horse takes over. The man may think he is free, but in truth he is being dragged by cravings, dragged by feelings, dragged by parts of himself he has never learned to master. A real man doesn't kill the wild horse. He learns how to guide it. He uses its power but doesn't let it lead, because he understands. If you don't lead your desires, they will lead you, and they will not take you anywhere worth going. Love is a test. And most men fail without knowing love is a test. And most men fail without knowing there's something many men don't understand about love. It is not always soft, it is not always easy, and it is not always safe. Love can be a test, and many times, that test comes through a woman's behavior. She may not even know she's doing it. She may not plan it, but it still happens, because nature works through patterns, and one of those patterns is this. A woman will test a man's emotional strength. She will test to see if he stays calm under pressure. She will test to see if he can hold his values. When things get hard, she will test to see if his words match his actions, and most of all, she will test to see if he can lead himself. Now here's the hard truth. Most men fail these tests not because they are bad, but because they are unprepared. They get too emotional, they start chasing, they get scared of losing her. They forget what they believe in, they change their behavior to please her. They call it love. They say they're trying to be romantic. They say they're fighting for her, but in reality they're showing weakness, because love, if it's not balanced with self-control, becomes self-destruction. And when a man loses his control, he loses her respect. She may not say it out loud, but deep inside she starts to see him differently. She sees a man who cannot hold his ground, a man who can be bent, a man who can be led by feelings instead of values. This doesn't mean you have to be cold, it doesn't mean you never care, but it does mean this: you must remain centered, because if a woman can easily shake your emotions, if she can make you lose your discipline, if she can make you forget who you are, then you were never in control to begin with. And Plato understood this perfectly. He knew that real strength is not about how loud you speak or how romantic your words are. Real strength is how calm you stay when your emotions scream. It's how steady you stand when everything is pulling you off course. Love will test you. The question is, will you pass? Women don't break. You break yourself. Let's be honest, many men believe their pain comes from women. They say, she broke my heart, she played me, she left me when I needed her. But the harsh truth is this: she didn't destroy you, you destroyed yourself. Not with one big decision, but with many small ones. You gave up your purpose, you stopped focusing on your goals, you lost your direction, and for what? To make her stay too. Make her happy, to make her feel something for you. That women don't break you, you break yourself. Maybe wasn't even real. Every time you ignored your values to keep her, every time you silenced your truth to avoid a fight, every time you gave her your strength hoping she'd love you more, you weakened yourself. You didn't stand tall, you bent, and the more you bent, the less she respected you. She may not have said anything, she may have smiled, stayed, even acted like everything was fine, but deep down something shifted, because women can feel when a man loses his center, and when that happens, she starts to feel something: to disappointment. Here's the part most men miss. She didn't have to manipulate you, she didn't have to lie to you. You did it to yourself. You created a fantasy in your mind. You told yourself she was perfect. You made her your meaning, your mission, your everything. But she was never meant to carry that weight. No human being is. She was never your one and only. She was never your purpose. She was never your rescue. She was just a person. And more importantly, she was a reflection, a mirror showing you the parts of yourself you refused to face. Your emotional neediness, your lack of discipline, your fear of being alone, your deep craving to feel enough. You blamed her, but the truth is, she only exposed what was already broken inside you. And until you face that truth, you'll keep repeating the same pattern with different women in different relationships, with the same ending, because the real problem isn't outside, the real problem is within. The cure: master your mind or be ruled forever. Plato said something powerful: no man is free who is not master of himself. Let that sink in. You can have everything: money, fame, success, even love, but if you can be broken by a single look from a woman, if your day falls apart because she's cold, angry, or distant, if your confidence disappears when she disapproves of you, you're not in control. You are still in the cave, still trapped in the illusion, still a prisoner. The chains might not be on your hands anymore, but they're wrapped around your soul. And the worst part, you put them there. The world didn't do it. She didn't do it. You did. You made her opinion your truth. You made her presence your peace. The cure: master your mind or be ruled forever. You made her love your identity, and that's why you feel lost when she pulls away, but there is a way out. There is a cure, and it doesn't start by changing her, it starts by changing you. You must begin to master your mind. That means watching your thoughts. It means questioning your reactions. It means choosing your response instead of being controlled. By emotion, you must begin to master your emotions. That means not chasing her when she pulls back. That means not begging when things get difficult. That means staying calm even when you feel fear, anger, or sadness. You must stop living for her attention, stop living for her love, stop trying to be what you think she wants, and instead start living for truth, for your values, for your growth, for the man you are becoming. This is not about hating women. This is about becoming strong enough to love them with clarity, not desperation. It's about no longer being ruled by fantasy, lust, or fear. It's about becoming someone who cannot be broken by external things. Because once you master your mind, no one can control you. No one can take your peace away. No one can make you fall apart. You stop living in the cave, and for the first time you see life clearly. Step into the light and rule yourself. Let's make something clear. Women are not the problem. They are not your enemy. They are not trying to ruin you. They are not here to test or play with your life for fun. What they are is a mirror that reflects what's already inside you. Your fears, your insecurities, your unhealed wounds, your hunger to be seen, loved, or chosen. You look into her eyes, and what you're really seeing is the parts of yourself you haven't worked on yet. This is why some men fall apart around women. Not because women are powerful, but because the man is still broken inside and refuses to fix it. Your job is not to chase women. Your job is not to convince them to love you, not to beg for attention, not to keep proving your worth. Your job, your real task, is to go within and take control of yourself, to lead your thoughts instead of letting them run wild, to stay grounded when emotions try to shake you, to choose truth, even step into the light, and rule yourself when lies feel more comfortable. Because when you do that, when you truly start to rule yourself, everything changes. You stop reacting to drama. You stop needing people's approval. You stop being afraid of someone walking away. And here's the most powerful shift. You become the kind of man who cannot be controlled. Not by beauty, not by pressure, not by manipulation, not even by fear of loss. You become calm. You become steady. You become steady. You become clear. Not loud, not aggressive, just strong in silence, like a mountain that doesn't move when the storm comes. Plato called this man the just man, a man who doesn't lead others by force but leads himself with discipline, a man who is respected not because he demands respect but because people can feel he has earned it. That kind of man is rare, but that kind of man is possible. And you, yes, you have the ability to become him. So let me ask you a serious question. Will you keep chasing illusions? Will you keep giving your power away for temporary attention? Will you keep living in the emotional darkness, blaming others for your pain? Or will you finally rise? Will you finally face the truth, even if it burns, even if it hurts? Will you step into the light, not as a boy needing approval, but as a man who has trained himself, ruled himself, and now lives from truth? Because until you do that, nothing will change. You'll keep attracting the same pain. You'll keep repeating the same patterns. You'll keep confusing weakness for love. But the moment you choose truth over comfort, that's when everything shifts. Final words. If something inside you moved while reading this, if you felt a shift like someone just held up a mirror to your soul, don't ignore that feeling. It's not weakness. It's not shame. It's the beginning of awareness. It's the first sign that your real power is waking up. You're starting to see the truth, and once that happens, you can't go back to sleep. So don't just scroll away like nothing happened. Pause, breathe, let it sink in. And if this message spoke to you, really spoke to you, do something with it. Like this video, share it with a brother who's still blind to the lies. Subscribe if you're ready to stop living for approval and start living with purpose. And if you want to go deeper into this kind of dark truth and mental strength, if you're ready to sharpen your mind and rule your emotions, check the pinned comment below. There's more, because this isn't just content, this is a call. The world doesn't need more men chasing likes, chasing women, or chasing false final words. Happiness, it needs men who chase truth, men who become dangerous in the right way, men who walk alone if they have to but never walk blind. And if that's the kind of man you're ready to become, then welcome to the journey. This is only the beginning.